Okay. Representative Dan Crenshaw is on the House Energy and Commerce Committee. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he joins us live right now to talk about a plethora of things, starting with that report from Bill Melugin. These Border Patrol agents, they'll get no penalty, or they were found to have not done what they were accused of, but they're still going to have a penalty. How do we make sense of that?
Well, apparently Jussie Smollett's a special advisor to President Biden.
All right.
And I guess they probably yelled, "This is MAGA country," as these Haitian migrants were rushing across the border illegally, invading our country. Look, this is just yet another reason why this administration is deliberately violating the Constitution by refusing to execute our laws. And what you're seeing here is, look, Joe Biden came out and said, "Look, we're not going to defund the police. That's not the Democrat policy." But he has every intention of degrading law enforcement, degrading federal law enforcement, degrading our military, making sure that they're completely ineffective. So some Democrats say it out loud, defund the police. But the rest of the Democrats say, well, we're not defunding the police. They just want to degrade them entirely and at every single level until our laws are just not enforced at all. And they get what they want, which is effectively an open border.
And it's textbook, Congressman. It's 6 months later or whatever it is. It's a Friday afternoon dump, an admission that they didn't do anything wrong, yet they're still facing administrative action. What does this do, to people hoping that there could be sanity on our border, or for Border Patrol agents still working down there? What does a result like this mean?
Yeah, and that's what I mean by degrading, because what you're doing is completely demoralizing the Border Patrol. They're already demoralized. Why would anybody join Border Patrol at this point? What is their recruitment going to be like here moving forward? This is not an easy job to begin with, and that's if your administration actually lets you do it and tells you you're actually going to get to do what you signed up for and be rewarded for it. So let's get this straight. You have a border. You have this entity called the Border Patrol, which is designed to protect it. Okay, they carry guns, they carry handcuffs, they carry all the attributes of law enforcement. And then they enforce the law by simply blockading people rushing across our border, and then our government punishes them for it. This is beyond reproach. This is an insane thing, and this will be one of the first things that we conduct oversight on specifically when we retake the House.
Well, you're coming to us from Texas, and Karine Jean-Pierre says that the state of Texas needs to stay out of immigration. Take a listen, and I want to get your reaction on the other side.
So I'll say this, the immigration enforcement is a federal authority, and states should not be mandating it, meddling in it. That is just, especially the Texas Governor of Abbott, who has a track record of causing chaos and confusion at the border. So I would refer you to DOJ on any legal matter. But again, this is immigration enforcement is a federal authority.
Congressman, your thoughts?
Well, as the saying goes, you can go to hell, I'm going to Texas. But maybe she should come to Texas and see it for herself.
Yes.
This is where the crisis is.
Or her boss.
Their actions, this administration's actions, are causing a crisis in Texas, and especially in these southern border counties. This is incredibly unfair to us in Texas. We have spent billions upon billions of dollars over the years trying to fix the federal government's border problem. Governor Abbott is doing everything he can within the law to at least try to disincentivize these illegals coming across our border in droves. I mean, look, we're almost at 1 million crossings just this year. This is unprecedented. This is a crisis in full form. I mean, look, remember, Obama's DHS Secretary Jay Johnson said 1,000 a day would be considered crisis, and they're doing nothing to stop this. Governor Abbott is doing what he can. Hopefully, it's effective. But for them to chastise him for it, again, it just shows that they are controlled by radical immigration groups. Everything they do demonstrates that they are controlled by radical immigration groups.
Real quick, Congressman, should the governor declare it an invasion, which would open up constitutional avenues for the state?
Look, there's arguments for that. There's arguments against that. It's tough to read the Constitution that way, and that's what it meant. But it might be getting to this point where we have no choice. Now, the problem the governor has with that is he's actually putting his agents, his DPS agents, his state troopers in jeopardy because they could, in theory, be violating a federal law and be arrested. This is a difficult situation, and it's the federal government's job to do it. It's so unbelievably frustrating. Look, I'm working on a variety of pieces of legislation that directly fix this problem with the abuse of our asylum process, the Flores settlement, which has caused most of this. labeling these cartels as transnational criminal organizations, which gives additional authorities to actually deal with them. There are things that the federal government needs to be doing. Democrats just don't want to do it.
Sounds like you're outlining immigration reform, which has been a fun thing to say for 20 years. If you can get some headway on it, you've got my support on that. Moving on to another topic that's also very germane to Texas, the GOP is hammering Biden for, get this, allowing our oil reserve, strategic petroleum reserve, to go to China and Europe. What's your take on this, and what's the story here?
Look, the oil market's complicated. First of all, Biden's policies of releasing oil from strategic reserve that's just a gimmick. And those aren't my words, actually. That's President Obama's words when he was asked to do this. It's a gimmick. It doesn't really affect prices, and it takes away from our reserve. Our reserve is not there to affect price mechanisms. It is there in case we say, have a giant hurricane on the Gulf Coast, and we need to tap into this because refineries are down. All right, that's what it's for. It is not for this. And here's the worst part about this China deal. They coordinated with China, asking China to also release reserves so that there would be a global release. So it would have more of an effect. What did China do? Go back on the deal and actually buy up almost barrel for barrel exactly what we released. So because they don't produce anything. So of course they're going to continue to build out their reserves while we try and do supposedly the right thing and do this. But we do have to be careful when we criticize exports, because exports are what drive production. When we lifted the export ban, it drove gas prices down. So if you want to send the signal for more production, you do have to encourage exports.
It just seems like so many of the solutions that the Biden administration has for inflation, whether it's removing the tariffs on China or selling them this oil instead of, so it was supposedly supposed to help drive down the costs and have more oil here in the United States. It just seems like so many things are in China's favor, which then brings us back to Hunter Biden's laptop and the very compromising deals, the information that the Chinese have on our president. Could any of this be behind some of these policies that always tend to benefit China to the, and not the American people? Whose side is this guy on?
Yeah, I mean, it's an open question, and it's obviously worth investigating. Again, one of the priorities, I think, for our oversight committees when we retake the majority. Right now, we just have no power to do that, but we will when we win in November. Again, it's important that people get out and vote, because this is potential corruption. More and more keeps coming out on Hunter Biden. Is there there? Is that why this happened? We don't know, but these things are worth investigating.
Absolutely. One more topic we want to get to this morning, Congressman. The U.S. Army set a deadline of June 30th for all soldiers in the Guard and Reserve to be vaccinated. Well, 60,000 soldiers have refused, and the administration's attempting to crack down on them by removing pay, and they won't be able to do federal service. What do you make of this? We're already short on recruitment. Now you're going to potentially push out or not pay 60,000 guardsmen and reservists. What does this do to our readiness?
Well, it's terrible for our readiness. We've long had trouble with recruitment, and look, there's a variety of reasons for that. I think the primary reason is the warrior culture that was so intrinsic to the military for so long is being deliberately depleted by this administration.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think patriotic young men and women are seeing that, and they're thinking, I don't want to join this military.
Yep. Right?
They're seeing the low morale. They're seeing what they're used for. It's just not a good place. And then you have this on top of it. And so what I've said about the vaccine issue is this. Look, it is true that we have long been told you will take vaccines in the military and there's nothing you can do about it. Law or lawful orders and good discipline and bearing in a military is extremely important. It falls apart otherwise. Now, that being said, it is worth noting to DoD leadership that this particular vaccine was controversial. Okay,
Yes.
It's brand new. It did get politicized, and whether you agree with the idea that it's harmful or not, at least that we can agree on the single fact that it's simply controversial. And so now, as a leader, you have to make a decision. You have to weigh costs and benefits. Is it worth putting your foot down in this case and potentially hurting your readiness, which is a far greater threat to the military and the country, just to make a political statement? And the thing is that they've also effectively taken religious exemptions off the table. They long gave religious exemptions for vaccines, but here they give so few that they've effectively taken that option off the table. And the last thing is, you don't need to punish people to this extent. All right, if you want to make a point, fine, you make them non-deployable. You can hurt someone's career a little bit, but keep them in when we need good people. Instead, they kick people out in droves and hurt our readiness. It's unbelievable.
Congressman, I personally know multiple young men, strapping, awesome young men who wanted to become Navy SEALs, who said, I'm not joining the military because I already got COVID and I don't want to take the vaccine. And also the signaling of all this wokeness going on. They're just getting, it's repelling to them. They don't want to join, and we would normally have these guys. America needs them. And I just think that perhaps this vaccine mandate and the severity of the punishments is definitely meant to keep young men like that out. I can't believe why they wouldn't want people like that.
Yeah, look, exactly. And it's a variety of factors, right? It's this woke training that you see, this sort of diversity and inclusion training. It's the Marine Corps putting rainbow colors on their helmet instead of just focusing on war. You know, and look, I think the vast majority of people in the military want to focus on war. If anybody asks me, I say, and they want a career in the military, I say, yes, you should absolutely go. Look, it's still worth it. Because look, in the end, a lot of this stuff is far and few between, but it's what makes the headlines, and it's hurting our recruiting, and our leaders need to stand up to it. There is no benefit in this nonsense training. There's no benefit in making people sit at a computer for hours at a time doing what's called these GMTs, these general military instruction trainings. There's no point to it, right? Pete, you know what I'm talking about. It is, and Joey does too. I mean, we wasted so much of our time in the military doing this stuff, and that was before it got really woke. Imagine what it's like now.
I see that Marine Corps hate there. You're going to lean in on the Army guys.
Oh, it's true. It's the box checking all across the board, but now you're box checking on nonsense and indoctrination, which is even scarier.
Moving from China, this big threat in China, and now we're talking about our military going to kick 60,000 out because they didn't take a controversial vaccine.
And do you want your entire military to take a vaccine for which there has never been a long-term study?
It's a fair point.
Another national security
Congressman,
question.
thank you.
Congressman,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.